I was not sponsored by PGYTECH to do this video. I did not get paid by them, or they did not send this to me for free. I saw this actually on Instagram, just a random ad that pops up on your feed, and I knew I was in the market for a new handheld tripod. So I pulled the trigger. Once I saw the video, it got me. And I have to say, I feel like it was money well spent. Now, if you don't know about PGYTECH, they are a company that, from what I can tell, makes a lot of camera and photography accessories that fall in line with Peak Design. Now, when I say fall in line, I don't mean that they are a collaborative effort with Peak Design, or that they are a sister company of Peak Design. I'm saying they are kind of ripping off Peak Design's designs. Their latch and attach system, like, you know, Peak Design has. Their camera bags look awfully Peak Design-ish, but you know, that's for another video. This video is about the Mantis Pod 2.0. And what it is a handheld tripod for your cameras. And it is absolutely something that I've been using very frequently because I've been trying to get my content game up, trying to get my vlogging game up, and the GorillaPod just wasn't cutting it anymore. Now, PGYTECH offers a couple different, you know, options for their handheld tripods. You have the Mantis Pod Pro, which is the more fancier and, you know, pro version of the Mantis Pod. Does everything that the 2.0 does, but you know, it's built a little bit better, has a couple extra options, things like that. It costs about $150 compared to the Mantis Pod Pro 2.0, where if you get it basic, it'll be $45. If you get it with the Bluetooth remote that comes built into the handle, which you can also take out of the handle, then it comes to about $90 on Amazon. From what I can tell on the reviews that I've seen based on the Mantis Pod 2.0 compared to the Mantis Pod Pro, anyone who has the Mantis Pod Pro does not like the Mantis Pod 2.0. I don't know, for whatever reason, that's the kind of general consensus I'm getting online, YouTube videos, etc., etc. I've never tried the Mantis Pod Pro, so I can't put myself in that category. But from what I can tell, because of the extra perks it might come with and the build quality, I guess the Mantis Pod 2.0 ain't shit. But if you never, you know, used the Mantis Pod Pro, then the Mantis Pod 2.0 is definitely something that you could see value in. Now, the Mantis Pod 2.0, you know, it comes with your standard features that you would hope a handheld tripod that was meant for content creation or vlogging would come with. It has your ball head mount that you can use to rotate your camera effortlessly in any direction that you need to. It comes with a quick release plate, so when you want to, you know, attach and detach your camera from the handheld tripod, it is super simple. And that latching mechanism actually has a locking latch on top of it, so you get that extra security. It of course comes in a compact design, so it's light to carry, and the legs on the tripod fold out pretty wide to give you different heights and angles. Some of the bonus features of the Mantis Pod 2.0 that I like, this cold shoe mount. The cold shoe mount is right on the side of it, and it allows you to attach your audio recording device, whether it be a receiver for wireless transmitter or an actual microphone, right to the handle of the handheld tripod, instead of mounting it to the camera itself, which is going to save you a lot of space and weight on the camera. Now, one of the features I actually love that I spent the extra money on was the Bluetooth remote that is actually built into the handle of the tripod. Now, it does pop out, so it's not permanently attached to the handle, but I love it because when I'm walking around doing some, you know, walking and talking / vlogging videos, I can just hit the record button because it's connected via Bluetooth to my camera, and it'll automatically start recording. Instead of me having to fidget around the back, find the record button, then turn the camera back around to my face, I can just hit record and it automatically starts doing the job for me. Now, the last feature that this has, which is kind of unconventional, but you know, it is for content creators, it is for the vloggers, and that's where the Mantis feature of this Mantis Pod comes in. Now, what the Mantis feature is, it's simply a hook that pulls out of one of the legs on this handheld tripod, which allows you to attach it to a wall using the other two legs as basically counterweights to keep it in place. And really, you know, Does it work? It does. Is it kind of gimmicky? Kind of. But it gives you that Gorilla Pod style diversity where you can just, use ordinary objects that are outdoors, indoors, that you might just find to really, give yourself an advantage as far as being able to record without, holding the camera with the actual handheld tripod itself. So why is this better than the Gorilla Pod style handheld tripods? Well, a couple of reasons. The design is simply more sturdy. It's going to last, over time. I've had 2 Gorilla Pods now, and with frequent use, as a lot of people have complained about, they start to wear down. The rings that keep them attached, that give you the bendy action, that allow you to wrap the legs around tree trunks and poles and all that stuff, they start to wear out and they start to crack. And once they start to crack, that friction and that tension that holds them together starts to loosen. And that's happened with both of my Gorilla Pods. And I hate to say it, because now I can just, bend it one simple direction and a leg will pop out. It can barely handle my little point and shoot Canon M6 Mark II, which is a small camera and a small lens. So, this is definitely something I can see lasting for the long term, because there are no individual joints. There's nothing to wear down. This is made pretty sturdy. So the durability and the design of this is definitely better than the Gorilla Pod, in my opinion. Also, I think that the Mantis gives the camera better movement, better angles. You're able to attach it to a wall, like I said, using the Mantis hook, but you also can use the different heights of the legs to, securely give you different heights, and then also use the ball head and the rotating joint that's connected to the ball head to, give you pretty much any height or any angle within the tripod's, means that you want. And that is something that you can't really do with the Gorilla Pod. Now, yes, does the Gorilla Pod come with a ball head mount? It does. But if you want to really get it beyond that ball head movement, you have to kind of awkwardly shape the legs in a weird way that may not balance correctly or may not be level with your surface. And that can lead to the camera tipping over or, something breaking. So this is not perfect. I have been ranting and raving about how much I love this thing, but it's not perfect, and I do have some cons about it. The first and biggest con that I have probably about this is the Mantis, leg, or the Mantis hook, to say. It's great to use when you find the right surface, but not all surfaces are going to work with that hook. You're gonna have to make sure that you have enough ledge for that hook to, really hook onto, that you're gonna be able to make sure that the other 2 legs of the tripod can, rest evenly against that surface with enough support so it acts as a counterweight to the camera. And you're probably going to want to make sure that, whatever you're hooking it up to is not also, kind of loose or wobbly itself, and it's on a strong foundation. I think that it's a great idea and it can be useful at times, but it's definitely not something you're going to be able to use every single place, everywhere you go. You're going to need the right setting, the right scenario to be able to pull out that latch and really hang it on a wall or hang it off of something. If that breaks, or your base isn't secure, your camera is going bye-bye. Another con that I had is that it was a little awkward to use at first. There's a couple mechanisms on here that give you the different angles and heights that will allow you to get those creative angles with your camera when you're taking video. But getting them all to align perfectly so you can get the shot that you want or the angle that you want can be awkward. Sometimes it takes a couple minutes to adjust that, and I don't know, you ain't got the time for that sometimes. So I will say that it can be a little awkward to use depending on the angle you're trying to, get it to work at. Now, the mounting plate is pretty solid, but the one con that I have about the mounting plate is that it only accepts an Allen key to take it on or off. It doesn't have the Allen key / flathead screwdriver hybrid, where you can use a flathead or an Allen key to loosen or tighten the bolt on the bottom of the mounting plate. It only accepts the Allen key. And that always annoys me whenever I come across a product that I attach my camera to that only accepts Allen keys and that's it. Because I have a bunch of multi-tools, but most multi-tools, unless you buy an Allen key multi-tool, does not have the right size Allen key that you need. Now, I have a bunch of Allen keys just from all the other different products I had, but it's just another tool that I have to remember to carry with me when I use this. And I wish that it had the option of both, where you could just put in an Allen key or you could use a flathead for that diversity. And the last kind I have is, something I actually, kind of gave it props for before, but it is the build material. I mean, it is a hard plastic with a little bit of a rough etch on it. So it feels sturdy. It feels like it will last. It doesn't feel like it'll break if you drop it. But at the same time, it does feel a little too smooth, where if you're in a wet or damp condition, or if your hands are just sweaty from being outside in the heat, if you're not paying attention, it could slip out of your hands and fall. And then, your camera gear might actually break. Now, I'm not really that much of a clumsy person, so I don't think I would let go of this thing, even if I did have my hands that were wet. But I can definitely see myself kind of drying my hands off and making sure that I don't have too much moisture on my hands carrying this for long periods of time. Like the GorillaPod, one of their advantages are the little rings on it, because it definitely fits in between your fingers, your knuckles. You can really get a good grip on it. You're not going to drop it. It's super secure no matter how wet your hands might get. This, because it's so smooth, when it's in that closed position, I mean, if you're not paying attention, you could definitely end up, dropping it. So I do think that the Mantis Pod Pro comes with like some rubber texture on the handles to give you some more security. So I guess that's the pro feature of it. And I guess that's also why this was only 90 bucks compared to that being 150. But if they were to make a Mantis Pod 3.0, maybe, charge an extra 10 bucks and put it at that $100 mark and add a little bit of rubber texture on these handles. So it gives you a little bit more durability as far as different conditions you might be using it in, and not having to worry about it slipping out of your hands. Or I can't call it the GorillaPod killer, but I can definitely say it's a strong challenger to the GorillaPod. And if you have any questions about it, please let me know. I'll be happy to answer them in the comments. And like always, I appreciate you guys for spending some time with me today and watching the video. I appreciate the views, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.